not on.
It's not on. How about now? Is it on now? Is it on now? Okay. Well, I've never been accused of. Oh, there we go. So I will start the meeting.
Good evening, board members and all of our visitors. It's just an absolute delight to be here. I have a statement, but first, I'm just honored to be sitting next to Aaron Cuthbert, who is the lead negotiator for FEA. And for this round of negotiations, I have served as the lead negotiator for Fridley Public Schools. So, Aaron, I'd like you to share first, and then I will follow up.
Sounds great. I did write some stuff down because all the people that work closely with me probably know that I'll just free associate for the next 10 minutes if I didn't do that. So good evening. Firstly, I wanted to just say thank you all for giving your time to the students and staff and community of Fridley. I know that you all have a thankless gig, but the work you've chosen to do is important. My name is Aaron Cuthbert. I have been employed by Fridley Public Schools for 10 years. I teach social studies down the way at the middle school. I'm the vice president of the Fridley Education Association and the lead negotiator. And I'd also like to just give a shout out to our other negotiators, most or all of whom are in here right now. Bob Lavinka, Kim Gardner, Britt Breitbach. And this wouldn't really be possible without the 275 other odd members that the FEA has in the district here. So thank you to everybody that has come. I was invited here today to present a contract that I'm very proud of. Countless hours went into research, writing, rewriting, and redlining this document. It truly represents the path that our district, administration, school board, community, and FEA have chosen to walk down together. One of mutual trust, respect, creative thinking, and collaboration to make this the best district in the metro. There are so many provisions in this contract that I'm truly proud of and which will make tangible impacts. I'm kind of a policy wonk, so I really wish I had the time to nerd out over the minutia of this. Ultimately, everyone in this room wants what is best for students. As you know, relationships are our biggest asset in FPS, so thank you once again for choosing to invest in our community. The importance of recruiting and retaining our talented educators is hard to overstate. Those of you who know me know I could go on, but I'll keep it short. Word is starting to get out. Fridley punches above its weight. Look, I'm a middle school teacher. I'm not going to lie and tell you that the job is easy. It's tough and there are challenges. They're very real. But we're making progress, and that's through creative thinking. When I go to conferences, I'm starting to get questions like, what's going on in Fridley? And how do you get so many people to show up to your events? And I teach in whatever, name this district. Do you think there are any openings next year? Like, to end it here, like, we're doing big and important things, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
So you know I get eyelash extensions, and they're like $80 a fill. So FEA is gonna buy my next fill. Not using district dollars. No public funds have been expended for Dr. Lewis's eyelash extensions. Aaron, can you read that part about Fridley Public Schools in the Metro? Can you read that part again?
You want me to read that again?
Yeah.
The part, like, word is starting to get out part, like, I mean, it's true. Phil will tell you the exact same thing. Like, we go to all these conferences. We talk to our FEA Ed Minnesota reps. Word is spreading. People are starting to notice that little district can, that doesn't hide the real challenges that we face here. But that is, it's because of those challenges that we've had to get creative and think about ways to bring people in and keep growing our district. So I think it's important. We're doing good work.
Thanks, Aaron. Tonight I am proud to share that our teachers union has ratified the 25-27 contract with how much approval?
It was unanimously approved.
100% approval. That level of unity and support is a powerful reflection of the deep commitment our teachers have, not just to their profession, but to our students, our community, and our shared values. Fridley is a district filled with beauty, brilliance, and complexity. We proudly serve one of the most racially and culturally diverse student populations in the state. We lead with innovation and equity, and we do all this while also serving a community where the vast majority of our students live in poverty. That reality is not easy, and yet you all show up every single day for our students, for one another, and for our families. Even as districts all around us offer a different experience, you have chosen to serve here. That choice speaks volumes about who you are. This is not just work. This is hard work. It is soul work. And I believe in the deepest part of me that we must never stop showing our teachers how much they are valued. We show that through fair contracts, yes, but also through our daily actions, our leadership decisions, and our commitment to building a district that honors your expertise and lifts your voice. And I want to say, as a superintendent, but also as a mom of 3 children in this district, thank you. I benefit directly from the care, brilliance, and unwavering belief you offer our students. My children are thriving because of you. Our children are thriving because of you. On behalf of the board, our leadership, and the entire Fridley Public Schools community, thank you for your trust, your partnership, and your heart. You are the heartbeat of Fridley Public Schools. Sally got bored. Wouldn't mind a little break here, so go ahead.
So one of the things that I'd like to point out, just in my day job, this is like unheard of, right? To have a contract ratified at 100% with the members as you have. The last contract, Dr. Lewis and I would always go back and forth because I would never, for some reason, I could not remember that it was 98.7. I would always say 97.8, I believe. I didn't give you all enough credit. This made it easy for me, thank you. Say that was unanimous. But you know, oftentimes in the labor world, it's very divisive. It's a us against them mentality. It's who's going to win the contract, who's going to lose the contract. Clearly, in the last 2 negotiations, it's not about who's winning and who's losing. It's about what the collective good is. I was reminded of a quote today from something unrelated to this, Paul Wellstone. We all do better when we all do better. I think that's a perfect example of what's going on here in Fridley, and really, really looking forward to just seeing what this builds. And I gave Dr. Lewis a hard time about our newer HR director. Like, she's going to be working overtime, because if we have a spot that opens up, it's not going to be 1 or 2 applications. It's going to be dozens, and we're going to get the pick of the best out there, and we deserve it. So thank all of you. We should have been out there barbecuing for you all, not the other way around, but with that, we certainly appreciate the burgers. Thank you. Anyway.
I am so honored to have you to work in this role with each of you, and I'm so thankful for the contributions that you make to my own kids, as Dr. Lewis says, but also to our kids as a community. And I thank each of you so very much for all of the investment and all of the growth. And I see that in, my 3 little people, but in our community and in the people that are growing because of your investment. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know just from the board, thank you for the work that you do.
Right now there's a lot of gross in the world, and a lot of sadness, and a lot of turmoil and violence and arguing and hate, and spending most of my day job at the Capitol, you get trained to think that these sorts of things have to be combative.
David keeps us in check. And so I'm just so grateful that this is, I know that there was effort put into it, but this seems so easy. And it's like there's one thing in our lives that we can count on, and that's good communication and a good solid team. And as much as I don't want to rush my 3-year-old growing up, those of you who lived through the Dylan Stark years, the Huntley Stark years are coming. And I just feel so good knowing that he will have such a wonderful place to go to school when it's time. No rush, but when it's time.
I'll say something too. I just don't want to start crying because I might. I have never seen such hardworking people in my life when I started working at Stevenson, and I can literally appreciate all of you, from the bottom of my heart. And my 3 kids obviously benefit from this, but you guys are all wonderful, wonderful people, so thank you.
Well, heck. They said everything important. So all I can really do is echo it. And the gratitude, I hope, comes through clearly. We all feel it. I find the alignment between the parties, the recognition that we're all on the same team, that we're all trying to teach our kids to the best of our ability with the resources that we have. I find that alignment incredible, fantastic, and I appreciate it very much. And yeah, we hear it too. What's that little district up there called? That's what? Wait, what? Fridley? What? We hear it too. Congratulations.
I will add that you should go to Earl Giles, where Dylan is bartending, and tell him your mom said you have to buy me a drink for all of the hard work you put into him. So,
Brenda, do you have anything else?
no.
Okay, I would maybe just ask for some indulgence with the agenda. I think it'd be appropriate to maybe vote on this now. Right? So I would entertain a motion to approve the master agreement for the 2025-2027 school years for Fridley Education Association.
So moved.
Motion made by Stark,
Second.
second by the two ladies next to me. I'll let Lori figure that one out for the record. Third. This is not a roll call vote, so all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion unanimously passes. Thank you. So you all are more than welcome to hang out for the entirety of this meeting, but we certainly would not take offense if you wanted to go home and watch it from the comfort of your own home. But I also hear the after party may have changed locations, so thank you all again very much.
I think he's working tonight, so.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank
good
you.
to see you all.
Have a good night.
See you. Thanks again. All right, it is my absolute privilege now to talk with you about our Fridley Association of School Principals Master Agreement for school years 25-27. To my right, I am absolutely privileged to introduce you to Veronica Matheson, co-lead negotiator for the principals, as well as Kelly McConville, who's also the other co-lead. So Veronica, I'll let you lead first here.
Well, my staff are used to me making some notes and then throwing them away, and it's really hard to say what I was going to say after following Aaron and what he shared, and then also hearing from Dr. Lewis and from all of you. So, school board members, cabinet members, I am the proud principal at Stevenson. Nice shirt, Ivana. I came to this district as a teacher, and in my heart, I knew the important, critical work of teaching, and my heart was there, and I knew how powerful my colleagues were and all of the teachers. And entire career have been a huge supporter of our teachers and belief in them, and wanting to support them so much that it led me into my work. But this is the first time I've sat down and have not only felt like a champion of teachers and a belief in teachers and the incredible work that they do, but also sitting among leaders that get it and that support it and give us what we need. And that's what has happened with the principal group. So our negotiation, the FEA laid the work. They laid the work and they set the tone. And we followed suit, and in complete appreciation, but also constantly feeling valued by Dr. Lewis, by our cabinet members, and by all of you. Affirmations over and over again. Our jobs, just as the teachers are tireless and sometimes thankless, but we do it because it's so incredibly important, and we do feel like we're game changers. And working in our district is incredibly challenging, but also the most inspirational, and you get back so much from our children and from our families, and you can feel it at any event that we throw. And Aaron spoke like, yeah, we don't any longer worry about how we get them there. We worry about how many are going to show up and how we're going to manage that, because that's what happens every time we throw an event. I just did interviews today, second round, not the one with you, Rochelle, another round of teachers, and asked them, why do you want to come to Stevenson? Because we've heard this is the place to be. And I've heard that over and over and over. So when we post, building subs are still a little tricky, but when we post a job, that job brings talent. And so that speaks a lot to our district. And the contract, the recent one from the FEA, does not hurt at all either. And our principal contract reflects the value that we feel, and we are so appreciative. And that was also unanimously approved.
Yep.
So that was a little longer than planned, but
I love it. I love it. It was perfect. This evening, I am proud to share that our principals have ratified their contract with how much approval?
100%.
100%. That kind of unity speaks volumes, not only about the process, but about the strength of the leadership team we are privileged to have here in Fridley Public Schools. Our principals are the backbone of our schools. They lead in ways both visible and unseen, carrying the weight of urgent issues, school culture, instructional direction, and community connection. In a district where nearly 80% of our students are students of color, and where most of our families navigate the reality of poverty, the role of the principal is not simply about management. It is about mission. It is hard work, and it requires leaders who are deeply rooted in equity, instructional excellence, resilience, and relationship. I want to thank each of our principals for the integrity and care they brought to the bargaining process, and even more so for the dedication they bring every day to our students and our teams. In a region where many neighboring districts offer different experiences or larger systems, your choice to stay and serve in Fridley matters. It is noticed, and it is deeply appreciated. As both superintendent, direct supervisor, and mom in this district, I benefit directly and greatly from your leadership. I see the difference you make in classrooms, in hallways, and in the lives of the students we are privileged to serve. Thanks for leading with your whole heart. One of the pieces I wanted to share is Veronica and Abby gave me, I think you've probably seen it, this gray scarf that has beautiful red hearts on it. And Veronica said to me, I think that looks like you. And it just like explains, as you've seen here, I've negotiated in Rochester, Montgomery County. To your point, Chair, no one wins when we fight and we divide. And while our contracts are a fiscal investment, which we need to make, we are happy to make, when districts fight with bargaining units, that damage is pretty hard to come back from. And I think it's pretty hard to put a cost on that. And when I hear people want to come to Fridley, when I message you and say all eyes are on Fridley, our students deserve that. Our staff deserve that. And when we've gone from a district that had so many vacancies to now where we have our pick, right? And that's not just because of the international program, and we're seeing our staff also reflect our students. So board, I'm so proud of the work that you also do every day to really champion the work of our students. And Veronica, I couldn't ask for a better negotiator. So congratulations. Do you want to alter the, comments, and then you want to alter the agenda again?
Yeah.
Sorry about that,
I mean,
Chair.
Veronica, the only thing that I would add, while the FEA may have laid the groundwork and the foundation for things for you to follow, you can't follow unless you bring something to the table, right? So like when I saw the contract, I think I can speak for everyone here, like it was well deserved, like 100%. You guys, I've noticed just a legitimate, almost a physical change in the principals in our buildings when you walk in and have conversations with you all, with the leverage you guys have been given and the freedom. Like, it's transformational. It's tough to explain. So yep, they did a great job. They laid the foundation, but that Dr. Lewis didn't come to you with that because of the work they did. It was because of the work that you all do, and I hope you share that with your colleagues. So anybody else?
We thank you for the way that in each of the buildings, I would say that you lead and you do value our students and you value our staff. And so thank you for leading with that first, with putting our human beings first. And we really, really appreciate that. And that is what our system needs for them to be able to build up our kids. And so thank you for doing that. Thank you for caring for our staff and for all of the ways that you see them and that you support them in the hard work that they also are doing. So thank you very much.
All right. So without
Copy and paste.
Copy and paste. So I would certainly entertain a motion to approve the 2025-27 Fridley Association of School Administrators Master Agreement.
So moved.
Motion by Anna. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Jones. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Also another unanimous vote, so congratulations.
Good job.
Now, my absolute delight to call up our activities director, Justin Reese, along with a lot of our athletes who are here to showcase all of the achievements. Welcome. So good to see you all. Justin, you can pull up a chair. Sorry. You're good? Okay. I think athletes, your mics should be on. Can you just give it a try?
Well, Maya's done this enough. Like, she's here
Maya's
every
good.
month.
I don't know what he's going to do.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, so the spring recap for activities, kind of got a lot to go over. We did a lot this spring. So speech finished the year with 3 all-conference winners and 9 all-conference honorable mention winners. And we also had 3 students participate in the state tournament, Amir Hussein in poetry, Kale Host in prose, and Zach Muhammad in drama. For Model UN, over spring break, 22 Fridley Middle School and high school students, along with 740 others from all across the state, participated in this year's Center for Youth Voices Model United Nations Conference in downtown Minneapolis. These students took on roles of diplomats from 9 different countries discussing and debating global issues while practicing cooperation and diplomacy. And 5 students also represented Fridley at the conference in elected and appointed leadership positions. Our robotics team finished the 10,000 Lakes Regional Robotics Competition ranked 17 out of 51, so that's pretty good. We were honored to receive a grant from the Gene Haas Foundation and the Creativity Award sponsored by Rockwell Automation for the innovation of our climbing apparatus. We also want to congratulate the middle school students for the High School Musical Junior. I don't know about you guys, but I went twice. It was awesome. It was a blast. They were having so much fun. And they performed to a full house. There was incredible support, and it was just great. It really made our district proud. The High School Salam Club hosted its annual iftar night. We had roughly about 50 high school students show up to break fast together. At the MHSHL Visual Arts Festival, Remy Anderson received the spotlight on the Arts Award featuring her digital photography work entitled Controlled Substance. And then for AVID, the 11 scholars participated in the Northwest Suburban Giving Voice Leadership. Our educational debate team took first after having to debate on AI use in schools. They came well prepared to discuss both sides of the topic and won all 3 of their rounds. So congratulations to Nazruddin Hussein and Ayana Shob on bringing home some hardware. And then last but not least, the band and choir finished off the year with their annual Pops concert. The choir, I think it was like Just Dance 2016. Band, it was video games. Both did a phenomenal job, and Miss Olson and Mr. Johnson received many compliments on everyone who attended.
And then moving on to athletics, starting off strong. As many of you know, this was our first year having an official boys volleyball team, and God, was it was a pretty good one. Our team was coached by all Fridley High School employees, teachers Mandy Burrian and Bree Claus, and as well as our athletic trainer Aaron Green. We finished the season 6th overall in the conference with 1 all-conference athlete and 2 all-conference honorable mentions. Other than that, my personal experience, it was honestly an amazing amazing experience to be a part of our first ever high school boys volleyball season. As our JV setter and professional varsity bench warmer, I can tell you that the energy was always there on and off the court. Our team came from all walks of the school, from speech to football. We had a very diverse team, and they meshed so well together to create such a diverse family, I want to say. Yeah, it was honestly a great experience, and I'm so glad to have been a part of our first year with boys volleyball.
Yeah, like you were saying, that family part, having this as the first year, there's a lot of people who like stood up and like decided to give it a try. Even some people on the team I never thought I would see play volleyball. And having the coaches there trying to help us through it all and teaching us like new things, it was a really good experience. And it wasn't even just the team too, it was other students around the school showing up to the games to come give their support as well. I think for our first season, being 6th in conference was not that bad, especially with other schools with clubs and stuff. And so I think even next year and years going on that we could build a good program with boys volleyball.
To continue with athletics, adapted bowling. The adapted bowling team won 2nd place in the MSHL state competition. Congratulations to first-year head coach Maddie Kronk, who helped the team to victory. Our badminton team had many people participate in the state tournament. Coach Ryan, I don't know how to say his last name, was a great addition to our coaching staff, and we are looking forward to having him again next year. Baseball, we had 2 new head coaches, 2 alum, Josh Groth and Matt Nalepka. They were a young team and are looking forward to see what next year brings. Golf is in a rebuilding phase. We had 2 females and 4 males participate, including 3 brand new golfers and 2 middle school athletes. These middle school athletes improved so much that they were able to participate in sections. Boys tennis had fun this season. They finished 5th in conference and received 1 all-conference and 2 honorable mentions. Varsity softball had a great season. We won twice as many games as last year, which was a really big accomplishment. And we won 2 section games, which, guys, is really big. We had 2 all-conference and 2 all-conference honorable mentions, and we had a really, really big award. Maya Karsten was named first team all-state, so I'll hand it to her to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, completely surprised about it. Coach Kayla blew me out of my seat at the banquet. But I was able to receive first team All-State. I am the first player at Fridley to receive this since 2002. So it's a pretty big deal. I had a 617 batting average, which is almost double that normal average, I guess. And I only had 2 strikeouts the whole entire season, both being in sections, to the best pitcher and the worst pitcher we faced. So that was kind of fun. And with 37 total hits, and I scored 25% of the runs on the team this year. So I think it was a pretty good year for me. It's really an honor to receive this and to represent Fridley Strong. I mean, obviously, if you know me, like I've been out with injury and whatnot throughout high school, and to end senior season off on this good note, it was really, really, I felt accomplished. I felt good.
She missed 2 years and did all this, so it's really impressive. And then track and field, we had 5 athletes participate in the state tournament. Our 4x1 relay team finished 13th in sections. Trenton Jones medaled and took 8th place in high jump, and Lorenzo Hampton is our 2025 state champion in the 100-meter hurdles. He also set a new 2A class record with a time of 14:07. And then this year, I was honored to be our Fridley Athena Award winner. I can say this was such an amazing award to win. Just since I've been playing varsity sports since 7th grade, I've been really close with our former Athenas, from Ami, Jewel, Sophia, and even coaches I've had, Coach Fred, my trainer Aaron. Being an Athena kind of was oh my God, I want to be that so bad, and it just felt like such an accomplishment to do that. I can say playing sports at Fridley is probably one of the funnest things that we have. Win, lose, or draw, they're fun. We have a good time. So that, and then I had the opportunity to attend the banquet in May, where I was surrounded by a bunch of other successful young female athletes, and it was just a really good experience to be a part of, and I learned a lot. Is that all? Yeah. Okay, that's all we got.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, as usual, you guys did a fantastic job. And it's always interesting to hear your experiences from your lenses, right? Like we can hear it from the teachers and the staff and the email updates that we get, but to actually hear it from your mouths is a different perspective. So congratulations to all the accolades. I don't know, Maya, you gonna come back next month? I mean, you're here all the time. Is there some kind of a summer award we can give Maya? She's gonna cut like the most lawns for old people or something. I don't know. But no, anyone else? You guys are fantastic. Have a great summer.
Thank you. You too.
So proud of you all. Good work. Okay, we're just gonna reorder the soup update here, so give us a second. Okay. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Jordan Halverson, who is our new principal of Fridley Middle School. So welcome to Jordan. A couple of things I want to share about Jordan. We believe Jordan is our first principal of color for Fridley Middle School. So we are so honored that you chose us. Also, Jordan, during his interview, said many fabulous things, and I just straight up interrupted him one time. And I said, wait, you're not IB trained, right? And he said, yes. And I heard, no, I'm not, Brenda. But I said, but you said IB is the framework and AVID is the?
It's the support.
And
it's
I was
tools.
like,
yeah.
You are IB trained. Jordan shared so many things, and he said, I want to come home. I want to come home. So he's going to talk to you about that in just a moment. And what I'm most proud of with Jordan is he's coming, which he'll share with you. He's coming from districts that don't at all look like ours. And I really grilled him on that. I said, we are not Shakopee. We are not Eden Prairie. I said, and when you work in Fridley schools, you have to want it in your soul. You either love it here and you buy all the way in all the time and it keeps you up at night, or you need to go. And he was like, I am all in, and I could feel it. And we put you through, 4 interviews, plus a writing prompt, plus a presentation. Yeah. Did you get screened? Yeah. So we put you through, and we didn't even provide you lunch.
Wow.
Sorry.
Brutal.
We put him through so much, and he was a unanimous decision, and I am so just honored, not only as the superintendent, but also as a mom, to have you. Amara got the announcement, and she said, Mom, he used to play for the Vikings. So I texted that to Jordan because he said in the interview, I played with them for a cup of coffee, right?
I was there for a hot cup of
coffee. Yeah. And I texted him, you're all about trending with the teenagers around Vikings. And he's like, it's good credibility. So yes, but it's just my absolute honor. Jordan, we're so thankful that you chose us. So yes. I'll let you share anything you'd like.
Well, first off, appreciate it, Dr. Lewis, for all the kind words. Being here strikes a lot of emotions for me. So hearing the students talk and the things that the teachers have been doing so great here in the admin team. I was one of those students that I was homeless when I was going through these hallways and I was sitting through those classrooms. And that's why it's striking so much emotion. And then finding out I'm the first principal of color. To be part of that history and do it all at home. This was a big emotional drag for me. Like Dr. Lewis said, I'm coming from the west suburbs and southwest area where I was able to develop into a leader, and I knew it was time to come back to my community and be that resource for our students and our staff. Extremely excited to be here. When Dr. Lewis called me that Friday when she gave me the offer, she could hear, I couldn't say anything. I was speechless, and just tears were running down my face. This community means a lot to me, and they wrapped their arms around me when I didn't have anything. I was falling asleep in the locker room, hoping the janitors would find me, and now to give back to a community that gave so much to me, it means the world to me. And Coach Reese is back there. Coach Reese has known me since I was 14, and he was fresh out of college trying to get his stuff together still. So it's just full circle, and it's more than a job to me. From the students to the staff, they're gonna get everything from me, and I'm gonna run to every fire, and you're gonna get everything from me. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome aboard. We'll have a series of questions to finalize this. I'm just kidding.
Perfect. I'm ready.
Just
finish the gauntlet.
Of panic of like, how old am I? Was I on the board when he graduated? So I'm sorry that you're going to be teased now forever, Justin, that you have been around longer than I have. So, but I did have a quick calculation of how old am I? But I think this is wonderful. This is really exciting. My high school assistant principal was also with the Vikings, JT, John Turner.
Yep.
And it was he just was such a powerhouse, and just so kind, and ran into him in Target like 20 years later. And he's like, Ivana, how are you? So I'm just so excited to see what you're going to bring to the kiddos here.
Very exciting. All right.
Team, I think Jordan is also our first alum principal. I'm looking to my historian there.
We're going with it. It's official.
Yes. All right, Jordan, thank you so much.
Awesome.
They'll approve you as part of consent.
Perfect.
Yep.
So.
Welcome home, Jordan.
Just have one ask. Can I get a picture? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yay! Do you want to head up there and then we can have the cute background for you?
I just have one question. So a train leaves Boston at 62 miles an hour. Another train leaves Chicago. What?
Okay, what was the question? I'm gonna try and figure it out.
Well, I normally expect just the waist up stuff.
Oh god, I'm like covered in hospital images. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
I'm really glad I have this message.
Thank you. Welcome home. Thank you. Now hurt the world though.
Yeah, it's shareable now.
Perfect.
I kept him locked down.
Oh,
yeah. And Jordan, we'll push out about you too.
Perfect. Awesome.
Tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. So proud of you. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, guys.
That's awesome.
First round interviews for Fridley Middle School AP are on Friday, and several people here are participating in those, and Jordan is as well. So we're so excited. Next up, I am thrilled to have Justin share with you about our baseball fields and softball updates. This is a long time coming. Justin and I were texting today, and we were talking about how it's just so different. A few years ago, we were talking about we wish we could, or wouldn't it be nice if, and now we're talking about this is what it's going to look like. So Justin, I'm so proud of the work you've done. I'm proud of how much you love our fields. I'm proud of how you love our facilities. And I love when I say to you, we are not putting that raggedy fence, no matter how much you like it in there. And you say, Brenda, it looks nice. And I say, I hate it. And you say, oh, it looks real nice. And then yesterday I find out we're getting a different fence. So I love that you know that I'm very picky, and I think we have the same standard. So I'm so proud of the work you're doing. So take it away.
Absolutely, absolutely. First, I want to start off where I didn't think I'd have this moment right here where I get to listen to the Maya Carsons and the Aubrey Cochran Stars, who I had impacts on since their 7th and 8th grade year. And then Jordan Hilverson. Wow. You know, just to say that as much as I love the fields and the facilities that we have here at Fridley, I care that much about our student athletes. Mm-hmm. So when Dr. Lewis talked about access, opportunity, and belonging, Jordan Hilverson right there.
100%.
You know, we talk about having all of our kids feel welcome inside our district. This summer, we're opening up transportation so that all of our student athletes can have a chance to go to summer weight training and summer practices and summer camps. And so we're opening it up to where we're saying, come on board, Fridley is the place for you. Fridley is the place for everyone. So I say that, and I'm excited to talk about the baseball and softball updates. All right, so moving on. The first field we have is our multi-purpose field. That field will be located right next to our high school tennis courts. As you can see, that's an older style backstop, and that's the current state of our field. And our backstop, that will be removed, and we'll be updating that to a more multi-purpose for softball and baseball. So you can see we'll move towards that style of dugout. It would be powder-coated backstop fencing, Dr. Lewis. I know how much you care about that.
Can we take a moment?
Yes.
Let's please explain that, and let's explain what you thought was acceptable, because I'd just like to talk about that.
So I originally thought if you look at the bottom right corner, that is a fence that goes around. That is not a permanent fence, that's a portable fence. Jake, you may know the portable fences normally like those.
An accordion, yeah.
Yep. Put it, and Dr. Lewis refused. And I kept saying, oh no, it's gonna look nice. But I'm thinking like, I have to fix this. So as I'm nodding my head, I'm already thinking about thoughts. And huge shout out to Troy Ordahl, the head baseball and activities director at where's that, St. Anthony. He's the one I went over to their field and kind of looked at that, and I was like, okay, that's what we need, and we're gonna do it even better. So we was able to upgrade that to where it could be for all levels, anywhere from youth, softball or baseball, all the way up to our varsity sports. We'll be able to participate on this field.
And it'll be grass?
Yes. Yep, as well, grass. Going to baseball field, our varsity baseball field. So looking at our fields, replacing the varsity field, fence and backstop and dugouts. We'll look at, as you go through and see the pictures, you look at those updates that's gonna be needed. Right now, if you look at the top pictures, that is the current state of our fence that's going around. It's not the best thing to look at. You look at the backstop, and I know some of you have been at baseball games. We don't have the proper netting to go around, and so when we have foul balls, the neighbors does not like that. Nor do we need kids chasing the foul balls into the street. If you look below, right below that picture, we're gonna provide the proper backstop with the proper netting to prevent foul balls from going outside of the field of play. And then as you can see, we're gonna update the fencing with black powder coating. Then as we move to the dugout, that dugout was probably here, as we talked about, I got great help from Dan Nalepka and Matt Nalepka and Josh Groth. Those dugouts were probably there before they even was playing. And so now we're gonna move to a more upgraded version of what you see below. And so all their hands have been into this and their vision are with it. We're just kind of waiting for the correct branding to add to it.
You got a grant for that too, didn't you?
Yes, we have it was a twins grant. Yep, for $15,000. Softball fields. So I would say our softball field was in a little bit better shape than our high school varsity field, but we still want to replace the backstop, the dugouts, and a new scoreboard. And I'll get to that scoreboard in a minute. The current backstop, if you look at the picture on your far left, you will see below, sometimes the pass balls or the balls that go past the catcher will seep through the fence and it can fly up towards our fans. So we're gonna update that with a new backstop, as you can see in the bottom right corner. And then as we go to the dugouts, that's our current state of our dugout up top. We're gonna move to more of a brick dugout, and then the fencing that we have in front of it is for, since softball's a little closer to play, is for protection. And then we're gonna add on the additional storage wall that you see with the doors at the end. I'm gonna add that on. And then the scoreboard, as I mentioned before. Now, that is a building that our custodial staff use to store our grounds equipment. It is very far from the field, you won't ever be able to see it. So I did a close-up picture in case you never noticed if you went to a softball game. We're gonna update it with the scoreboard as you see below in the picture. That's a current scoreboard at our baseball field. So it'll be very similar to that, and we'll put it in right field of softball. So here are things we're gonna update for both baseball and softball. As we look, it's gonna be the fence guard, the foul poles, wait till I show you the foul poles, and then the batting cages. The fence guard, if you look, the top right, that's our softball field. So we already have the powder black coated fence around the softball field, which is nice. As you see to your bottom left, you see that's our current baseball field with the fence guard going around the top. We want our field to look like the bottom right, both fields, with it going all the way around. And so we're gonna upgrade that this summer. And so our foul poles, if we go from right to left. So in the right picture you see that's our foul pole for softball. I want you to look closely to the picture in the middle. That's our foul pole for baseball. That's a 2x4 that is painted yellow.
What? I did not know that. You kept that from me.
I did. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Never mind.
I don't know what a foul pole is, but I do feel like a 2x4 painted yellow is not a.
No, that's not what we want. And so we want all of our foul poles will look like the one you see in the far left. And then last is the batting cages. Yeah, it is past due time for the batting cages. So that's our baseball and softball batting cages that you see up top. We will move to the more upgraded version of the batting cages down low. And so it'll be 2 units so we can get multi-purpose use all at once. So most importantly, I want to thank Dana Lepka, who's the former baseball coach, former student athlete and baseball player here at Fridley Public Schools, as well as our head coach, Josh Groth, for helping us out, as well as Caleb Bronson Rivera, who is our head softball coach. I have all of them with me as we go through the design of this, and I'm gonna walk with them each step of the way to make sure this is done the right way for us. And I have one last slide that I want to share with everyone. So while we're looking at all of our baseball and softball fields, I will be happy to drive Dr. Lewis around in our new golf cart that she provided for us. It's kind of like both our golf cart. It's
both of ours, but other people have to check it out.
But I gotta say something, Dr. Lewis. It's not the right color.
Well, we're waiting on branding. Yeah. It's gonna get branded. So that's step one, upgrade.
That's awesome.
And we may not have used the max capacity.
I was just going to ask you, can you share how many professional adults we had on there yesterday? I would just like you to share that.
It's set up to hold 4. We might have squeezed 5 on there.
So it was Justin driving, Rochelle in the middle, me halfway off the side, and Justin did not go down the hill. Thanks again. And then we had the 2 guys from the city on the back, and we drove from the front of the middle school all the way to the subpar tennis courts. So we did that though.
Yes,
and with some, were you comfy, Rochelle? Yes. I think you're just speaking to the testament here, Justin, that we are not going to compete with some of our metro counterparts, but we can still have nice things in Fridley. Yes. And our students deserve nice things. Our staff deserves nice things. Our families deserve nice things. And I think we have been very good fiscal stewards of this. And it's simple things like Justin repeatedly talks about, the coating on the fences. That's when people understand your branding. They see your pride, right? And that stays a lot better than a rusted out fence, right? And we laugh and we have this playful dialogue about things like fences. It's because, and I think people know this now, I will not settle for anything raggedy because that sends a message to our students. It sends a message to our staff, and it sends our message to our families. That's why I am so particular about how our facilities look. So Justin, thanks for honoring that. Thanks for your great work. Board will entertain any questions or comments you have. Isn't this exciting?
Yeah, this is exciting. I mean, these are the things that you can see.
Yes.
Right. We know there's a lot of behind the scenes things happening, but I know when I talk to people in the community, like they are legitimately excited. Construction couldn't start quick enough. Kids are excited. Staff are excited. I mean, it's going to look like a different school here in 2 years, I would imagine. So.
Well, it's an increase in safety too,
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're really excited to go to a baseball team, and Mike's not going to make us park 2 blocks away because he's
don't want to hit
afraid
your
that
car,
the car
right?
is going to get hit.
That is a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Great work, Justin.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Nice job. I think you're done for the night, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for doing all those. Appreciate you. See you.
So you might not know, Dr. Lewis, we did our gender reveal at a Fridley baseball game Dylan's senior year. We got those exploding baseballs with the colors. And Coach Nalepka, I emailed him and I said, will you help me? And he said, I absolutely want to help you with this. And then I sent him the link and I said, this is what I want to do. And he replied back and he goes, oh my God, Ivana, do I know the gender before the father, because I sent him the blue link. And so we were at the baseball game. The whole team participated. My mom knew what it was, so she had a container of blue Gatorade hidden away. But a foul ball almost hit me while I was pregnant because we didn't have that protection. So very special place in our hearts. And I do have the video. I will try and find it and send it to you. But yeah, it was like narrowly missed. Not just me, my actual belly. It came pretty quickly. So this is very much needed for safety.
I love that. I love that. And it shows that we care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, we care about pregnant women's safety, right? I mean, we care about safety.
Because it's a future student.
Right, yes, right. I mean, it's all about the enrollment count.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, team, I'm going to transition us to our SRO agreement. My apologies, that should say 2527. Sorry about that. Anyway, I am just absolutely honored to talk about this tonight. You're going to hear two different SRO agreements talked about tonight. This agreement, both agreements, reflect our deep partnership with the City of Fridley and the unwavering commitment to safety, well-being, and positive development of our students. We're so fortunate to work with the public safety unit that we have here in Fridley. As you know, when I first came, SRO units were pulling out of school districts, and school districts were saying you're no longer welcome here. And we did not have a moment in Fridley Public Schools where FPD suspended service with us, and I'm really proud of that. I believe that we still remain the only district fully in Anoka County that still has SROs and has lasted that entire time. So I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to talk to you first kind of what I would call our traditional SRO agreement. And this is where we have two SROs embedded in our secondary schools. So we have Officer Nico at Fridley High School and then Officer Dave at Fridley Middle School. Their on-site presence during the school day. Also, they do heavy coverage at this building and at our elementary schools. And then when Vista first opened, heavy response at Vista as well. We also have part of our agreement is event coverage of football games, prom, homecoming, graduation, and dances. So it's really nice to see our SROs interacting with our students, having those relationships. And while we're there for safety, it's really about the relationships that they bring to that, and our students get so excited to see our SRO unit all over our schools, at our events, etc. As I talked about, they assist as needed. We also have a new addition here, which is in our Setting 4 Vista program. We are working with Fridley Police to get 2 additional SROs, which we are thrilled about. This interview process will take part in July. That's both a Fridley Police Department interview as well as Fridley Public Schools, so that's really a joint effort. And I call them our SRO number 3. Will start the first day of school, and then our SRO number 4 ideally will start by January 1st. We really want to continue our good partnership, and just like education has taken a bit of a hit about available staffing levels and qualified teachers and paras to be in our positions, Fridley Police has also seen not as many applicants for police officer positions as they once did. The other piece is it takes a while from hiring of a Fridley police officer all the way until they're able to be independent. So there's a whole bunch of phases, field training, those sorts of pieces. So FPD has been in direct communication throughout this process with me about when they feel they will be able to stand up the 4th officer. So we're really excited about that. We also are very fortunate to have Jason, who is serving as we call him a security officer, but he was an SRO with Spring Lake Park Public Schools as part of the City of Blaine Police Department. And we actually hired him, frankly, I think we all remember this, in quite a position of need. He started with us last January 2nd, I believe, and we were just having such a strain on Fridley Police SRO unit plus the patrol unit, and we were having multiple calls at Vista throughout each day. And now with Jason there, it's been phenomenal. And Jason, I just want to give a shout out to him. He has been working so hard and is a retiree, so that also impacts his funds for retirement, and he did some work to be able to come back with us. So he's here until SRO 4 is in place, and then we're going to do like a 2-week overlap. So it's just magical to see him interacting, and Lieutenant Titus and Chief George, as well as SRO Mickelson, took part in the city council tours, which I'll talk about later on. But they were also there, Chief George and Lieutenant Titus, and all of our SROs have been over at the Vista program when students are there in session, and it's just wonderful for them to see. And I have to say, FPD has been really good about thinking outside the box, because this isn't a traditional SRO role, and it's really been wonderful to see them just lean in and say, yep, we're going to work on this, we're going to work on it together. I wanted to share a little bit about Vista here as well. I think you recall we started with 2 teachers and 4 students, and now we ended with 16 students, 5 teachers and 6 paras. We're up to 7 metro districts, which I think is incredible. Last year, there was a student in not the Vista program, did not attend school at all, and this year graduated. We also have stories where Dr. Thompson will share with you that families literally call and say, is everything okay with my student? You're not calling me. And just having our families realize that, like, your student is thriving in the environment that works best for them. We had a student in one of our elementary programs, elementary schools, who spent about 5 hours a day in the restroom flushing the toilet. And that environment did not serve that student well, and now at Vista, that student only uses the restroom during appropriate time to use the restroom. So it's just talking about how we see and we set up that environment. We've all been there. It's an environment that is beautiful. It's therapeutic. Your shoulders go down when you go in there, and you can see one of the city council members asked me, how many fights do you have a day at Vista? And I said, we don't have fights at Vista. And that's because of the environment and how we have set that up. As I talked about, and this was asked during the city council tour, before the addition of the security officer, we had a lot of response. We had a lot of calls, and our SROs were feeling that, and they were not ever complaining, but it's just different when they're constantly getting pulled over to that site, and then that leaves our other sites with a bit of vulnerability. And with our location of Vista, which is now Vista Elementary, we're in a very high traffic area. Name a place in our district that's not, right? And what we would have is sometimes our students elope out of the building, and some of our drivers are not very understanding. So we would have students laying in the road and drivers literally getting out, screaming, threatening our staff, things like that. Now that we have Jason there and soon to be expansion of our SRO program, we will mitigate so much of that. And it's just been exciting to see the difference in calls from without Jason to now with Jason. Our, let's call it traditional SRO agreement, that's half city, half school system. as far as salary and benefits, and they fully fund all of the equipment. So that costing is $145,000 for 2025 to 2026. We have some funds that are dedicated to this. We, however, don't have enough funds that come out of that account, so some of this is general fund. Then the following year, it's $154,000, and that's for both of what I'll call the traditional SROs. Our setting for SRO agreement, this number looks scary, right? It's $403,000 annually. However, that has zero impact to our general fund, and that's because of tuition agreements and special ed dollars. Why is this a different price point and price structure? FPD needs to stand up all of the equipment. They need to have their patrol vehicle and all of those pieces. I feel very confident in the fairness around the costing of this contract, and also, again, this is something that we are able to spend through those tuition agreements. And tuition agreements are different than when we talk about a student who is open enrolled into our district that receives special education services. So the costing model and funding is different. I really feel this model on both City of Fridley and Fridley Public Schools is really about student safety, student focused, and I think it's very fiscally responsible. I think we have a really good relationship. I think we can all agree. Even since Lieutenant Titus took over in January, the level of times that we interact with our SRO unit is multiple times a day. I can't imagine if we didn't have SROs in our school district. I cannot imagine what that would feel like. And the approach that our SROs bring, I often have to remind myself, oh, they're not our staff. Even though they feel like our staff, I remind myself that they're not part of Fridley Public Schools in the sense of staff, but you would never know they're not a part of our district. They also bleed Fridley. They love our school district. They care. Here, I think you'll recall, I love these cookies. We need to do that again. Here is when we talked about Threat Week, and I think we can all remember this, and this is their cute little badge cookies that we celebrated them with. I do want to just take a moment and talk about the complexity of policing in our school district. And I think we can agree we've seen some tough times this year and last year when it came to police and school district interactions. And I have to tell you, while sometimes it takes us a tiny moment, we always get through it. And I think we improve. I know we improve each time. Law enforcement school district relationships are very complex, especially in a district that's 80% students of color. And Fridley Police understand and embrace that our school district does not racially or poverty look at all like City of Fridley, but they just want to invest with us and they want to be a part of us. I've worked with multiple agencies. Fridley Public Schools, as you know, is the smallest district I've worked in. I haven't had a better police relationship than I've had here. And that takes such good investment from our police and from our work. We remember when we had the traffic stop that occurred, Lieutenant Titus just leaned right into that. He leaned into the tension that we had. He heard me, and both agencies have made changes as a result of that, and I'm forever thankful. I also want to acknowledge SROs, Officer Nico and Officer Dave. They're here, they're reliable, they're just a part of our team, and all of us just embrace what they bring. And then Officer Mickelson, who's in our parking lot, he supports 916, but his primary duty is 916 SRO, but he is here as backup, helps us all the time. You'll see him at football games, graduation, etc., and he's just a trusted and dependable source. Special thanks to Lieutenant Titus, who provides his exceptional leadership to the SRO unit, and to Chief George for his responsiveness and partnership. I don't know if I've shared with you, Lieutenant Titus and I didn't even know each other, and our first test was to navigate Threat Week together. So I think that speaks to the volume of our relationship. So I'm just very proud of the work. I'm proud of this agreement, and I'm proud of the expansion that we're going to see under this. And with that, I'll pause here before we get to this exciting lead report, but I want to entertain any questions or comments you have about the police SRO agreement. This will go on the consent agendas to City Council next Monday.
Any questions? Pretty straightforward. I was hoping this would be a lead report. Not a lab report.
Sorry, it's lead.
Okay, well.
I mean, as the state director of Clean Water Action,
Oh, yes.
I think lead report is really exciting. So
I knew I'd have a fan in the crowd. Thank you. Just real quickly, wanted to give you an update. As you know, when I entered the district, we did a lead report, and we did have some violations and some need for remediation. We spent a lot of time over the last year changing out different faucets, drinking fountains. We checked signage that was using. I just wanted to report to the board that 2 weeks ago we did a retest, and we did it early because we wanted to be able to make sure we were in compliance for next year, and we passed it with flying colors. So everything's great. The report has been sent into the Minnesota Department of Health, and we have a clean bill of health for next year. So thanks.
Thank you, Rochelle. Much appreciated there. Next, I'm delighted to share a recap on our graduation. So right here in this building, I was able to be at some of these celebrations, and there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. So our 4-year-olds celebrate the completion of preschool by walking across their bridge to be a future kindergartner. It's so cute to watch. I was also doing classroom visits and got to see them practice walking across the bridge to kindergarten. So it's a big deal. We're so proud of our future class of, are you ready? 38. And welcome to kindergarten. At Hayes and Stevenson Elementary, the 4th grade celebrated by a culmination of elementary school with their exhibition projects, games, and a walk around the circle being cheered on by the rest of the school. This is our class of 2033. Hayes also had hot dogs there, and I don't even eat hot dogs, but it smelled so good when I stopped there, but I never had one, so next year. Fridley Middle School, our 8th grade students cheered on in their send-off. I was not there this year, but was there last year, and it's such a touching moment, and our students and staff celebrate them, send them off for completing middle school. Then they also went on a Mississippi boat cruise to finish out the school year, and they're so cute. They're all dressed up, and it was just the perfect day for that, too. This is our class of 2029. Then we had our Fridley ALC graduation ceremony. It was so touching. It was so touching, and at that ALC, any graduate that wanted to speak and address the audience could, and it was just phenomenal to hear that and to learn from them and see their stories of resilience. So that was fantastic. Then our graduation at Roy Wilkins Auditorium in St. Paul. We had hundreds of family and friends, and our graduation ceremony featured 22 graduates with honors, 17 with high honors, 16 with highest honors, 17 IB scholars, 4 IB diploma candidates, and 17 presidential awards. We also were proud to graduate 5 students who had dual degrees, high school diploma, and their associate degrees. So proud. This venue worked out really well for us, and I'll say I'm very proud of our graduation ceremony, and we've seen across the metro area that some did not go as well as ours. So I'm very proud of our community. All right, next I'm excited to talk about the city council tours. So this was last Tuesday? Yes, and this was just great. So our city council, all city council came, the mayor, chief of police, chief of fire, Lieutenant Titus, SRO Mickelson, and some city staff came. We rented golf carts. Why didn't we have our new one yet? Oh, well. Anyway, I wish we would have had the new one. That came in time for the parade, though. But anyway, we started just across the hall, and we had a little working lunch, and then did a few grounding activities around Fridley Public Schools, and talking about the demographics of our districts, our goals, etc. And then Rochelle led a presentation all about how we're using our referendum dollars and other money to really improve our facilities. And then half the group went to Vista. We took a van to Vista, and they got to see that in-depth tour. And then the other half went on a facilities tour, and they got to see what we're actually putting into action through the slides and the presentation Rochelle gave. And then the group switched. It was just such a wonderful time for everyone to just see the work in action. Rochelle, Lori, do you want to say anything? You two were on the same tour. I was with Vista, but anything you wanted to share?
I would just say it was an absolutely lovely day, and I would say the interest and the engagement and the questions were just truly showed care for our district and wanting to be a part of it. I got multiple people saying to me, we can't wait to come back next year and see the progress. So looking forward to that.
I sprung it on Lori yesterday that we are going to do a similar day for the Lions and a similar day for Rotary. So we're excited to do that. And then I found out that we are upping our game and we're actually doing before photos. We all remember that I regret not doing that. And what are we using in addition to basic photos, team?
Yeah, we have both drone and drone photos, as well as they're called scans that do just a 360 view of it. So you can see our basement at FCC in all its glory before the big remodel happens. So it's going to be really fun to look back on those.
So exciting. So this was just a fabulous day. And we look forward to doing it again so that we can see our progress and then again. All right, next up, we already excitedly welcome Jordan. And then as our Vista expands, elementary and secondary, and then we will have our middle school program, not this fall, but next fall, we need a principal. And so we're thrilled to welcome Matt Engelhart to be in this position fiscally. This is not a general fund investment. This is all special ed dollars and tuition agreements. So I'm just honored to have Matt join. He brings such an instructional lens, as you've heard him talk about. And he has a love of students, all students, especially students with disabilities, and he really prioritizes relationships. So I'm just thrilled to welcome Matt to the principalship as well. This is our newly debuted org chart. So you'll see on here some of the changes. I just need to flip back here. Some of these, all of these you know about, but we're just kind of presenting them differently now. As you know, Assistant Soup Rochelle, proud to have her serving alongside. If you notice here, we have Lori in the Senior Officer of Admin Services. Harold, we talked about Senior Officer of Operations. Lori is continuing with the amazing work she's been doing with comms, technology, enrollment, school board supporting the superintendent office. One of the biggest supports, even though we're in kind of the beginning of this, is she has taken international talent and just run with it. International talent is, as we all know, I know how to do that and I know how to do it well, but I get lost in the organizational part of it. And Lori's eyes just light up when I'm like, you just need to figure out how to track this and do all of this. And then like 2 hours later, she's like, and here's this form. And I'm like, that is fantastic. And I am so glad you can create something like that because I hate every minute of that. And so she has just done phenomenal work because there's the art of the international talent and then there's all of the numerous steps there, and I don't have the bandwidth to do that. And she has that organization and she loves it. So it's just been so fun to see her expand in that. So truly, I appreciate how much my workload has lightened since you've taken that over. So excited to welcome Dr. Cochran to the Senior Officer of Academics and Innovation team there. We talked about FCC with Afalabi as a reminder. He also is our first principal of color at FCC, and then welcoming Jordan and Matt. So we're excited to continue to make budget reductions at this level, but still really reprioritize how we utilize resources to serve our buildings. Next, I will open it up to board members here for their updates.
Great. From 916, a couple of exciting things happened at our last board meeting. First of all, we approved the budget for 916 for this coming fiscal year. And then additionally, we approved a contract between 916 and Fridley Public Schools for our ALC provider being Metro Heights, which is opening in the intersection this year, or moving to the intersection of University and Mississippi this school year. So we are very excited to continue to deepen that partnership and use this resource in the coming years.
I think the big update for Northwest Suburban is that Nikki will be taking over while I am out on leave.
Perfect. I need the Google Meets for tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Okay, we'll get that to you. Wait equals, sorry. But I'll take the credit. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. I need to talk to you before that meeting. Chair Carno?
I do not have an update.
Okay, sounds good. I am actually going to talk about the legislative update in just a moment that I pulled directly from AMSD, so this is good timing here. All right. Legislative review. So special session, the omnibus bill for ed finance and policy was passed on June 9th, so just a few days ago here. No new ongoing funding, but again, we are thankful for that 274 formula increase for the inflationary. Exceptionally thankful for the hold harmless provision for comp ed. I know I keep harping on this, and I'm going to harp again. We did not get the $200,000 that would have been allocated under the governor's formula. So there's really two things that we need to address, and you know that I want to be on that task force. We need to address this whole business of only direct certification counts. We need forms, and we need direct certification. By we, I actually mean all the districts in the state. Secondly, yes, I'm thankful for the hold harmless, but that's the funding cliff for next year. And just as a reminder, that's $6.9 million that's at stake in our school system that funds things like summer programming, class size buy down, professional learning. Our district cannot afford to lose this money. This is the money that changes the trajectory of our students, interventions, and so forth. This is by far the piece that Fridley Public Schools needs to continue just pushing on. This is extremely divisive, as we know, but we need to keep pushing on this. QComp didn't get cut. So for now, that's $750,000, and that fluctuates, right? We are good on QComp. It was going to be good for next year, but right now, the non-funding of QComp that was proposed out of the governor's budget didn't make it through. So I'm thankful for that. The state education budget for 26-27 remains unchanged, and we know it's pretty grim. Let's see. I talked about all this. Reduction in special ed transportation aid. This infuriates me in principle. When we talk about that districts need to provide, it's the correct moral imperative to provide the supports. It's also legally required at the state and federal level when we reduce transportation by even 5%, that sends us all a message, and we will keep advocating on that. I was disappointed to see student support personnel aid reduced and school library aid reduced when those had just been put in. So disappointing. What's even more disappointing to me is a $250 million reduction in the 28-29 biennium. There's a Blue Ribbon Commission that's being formed to reduce special education costs in Minnesota by $250 million. I think this is unrealistic, and I think it's morally wrong. If that doesn't happen, then districts will pay themselves out of general fund. One-time targeting funding, again, one-time team. $100 million for school unemployment compensation. As a reminder, if we don't get a funding formula to this, which I do not want this levied because of our already poor tax base, we kick the can again, which is fine, but this is $275 million annually, or $275,000 annually for Fridley Public Schools. We want our paras and our student nutrition services employees, bus drivers, we don't employ them, but other districts do. We want them to have livable wages, but we cannot sustain on the backs of general fund dollars. $2 million per year for intermediate districts for special education apprenticeships. This is to get more special ed staff into the workforce. And then $3.5 million per year for teacher apprenticeship grant program. Again, getting more professionals into the workforce. There was no indexing to the READ Act on poverty. There's also no additional funds in READ Act. We don't have immersion programming here. So the literacy training, that was just expanded a little bit, the requirements on that. I was surprised that the September 1 start made it through for calendar flexibility for 26-27 and 27-28. A lot of money is poured into that by resort industry, state fair, etc., to keep that start date after Labor Day. So I was really surprised to see that make it through. Highly contentious. Short call sublicense, there's a permanent pathway for paraprofessionals. The para qualifications, I had emailed you about that, must meet the new federal standards. And then this, remind me how we say that in the lock zone. Our students can administer that too. So I think that's good. Then there's some other provisions, meal and rest breaks, we already take care of that. The remote meeting law, greater flexibility with board member participation. I'm really excited about this. I want us to also just ensure that there's nothing about addresses published out. Public data law, I am tired of public data requests. We are tired of when we legally comply and people don't pay for it. We've already done the work and they don't pay for it, and we don't charge exorbitant expenses, but it's staff time that is utilized for things that are not improving student achievement. So I'm thankful that we're seeing some action around this. Now I will say Fridley Public Schools does not get the same level of public data requests that you might see in Okehonepin, Rochester, etc. get. However, it's still a drain on fiscal resources. And sometimes the motivation behind those isn't about student achievement. Then there's this law enforcement entry device grant as well. What does it mean for us? I've already talked about that, right? Our hold harmless, long-term sustainability, our advocacy, especially around that blue ribbon commission work, also around third-party billing dollars, and then our continued collaboration with AMSD and our other Metro District counterparts. I think that worked well this year. I think that worked really well around our advocacy there. the last piece here, I just want to take a moment to just really acknowledge the horrible tragedy that happened in the early hours of Saturday. Can you read this, Rochelle, for me?
Yep. The tragedy. I'll turn my mic on, or Dave will be here. The tragedy that struck our state on Saturday has left us all heartbroken. As a district that deeply values relationships and community, we extend our sincere condolences to all those impacted. With gratitude to Speaker Melissa Hortman, we're especially thankful for the tireless advocacy of Speaker Hortman. Her steadfast commitment to Minnesota's students and public education have been evident time and time again. Her leadership in advancing school finance reform, including her support for equitable education funding, has directly impacted districts like ours. Holding Senator John Hoffman in our hearts. Our hearts are also with Senator John Hoffman. His compassion, advocacy, and commitment to funding stream, commitment to his students with disabilities has meant so much to Fridley Public Schools. He has been a champion of protecting and expanding third-party billing dollars, a critical funding stream for special education services. We are actively coordinating a visit for him to tour our VISTA program, and Superintendent Lewis had the privilege of sharing breakfast with him just this past Thursday. His wife, a dedicated educator in a neighboring school district, reflects the same passion for serving students as he does. The safety of our school board members remains a top priority for us. We are actively working with Fridley Police Department to enhance security protocols for our elected officials, ensuring they can continue to serve our community safely and confidently. We are a community that stands together in sorrow, in advocacy, and in hope.
Thanks, Rochelle. Yeah. Chair, that's all I have.
Well said. All right, let's move along with the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve our budget for fiscal year 2025 through 2026.
So moved.
Motion by Meisner. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Next up, I would entertain a motion to accept a gift from the Fridley United Methodist Church in the amount of $1,362 for the Family Resource Room and Outreach. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Stark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Anna. This is a roll call vote to send our letter of gratitude. Miss Anna?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Carnap is aye. Mr. Meisner?
Aye.
Ms. Stark?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, I would entertain a motion for our consent agenda, which is pretty lengthy. It covers our agenda meeting minutes, monthly financial reports, new contracts, amendments, leave of absences, resignations, retirements, terminations, our SRO agreement that we discussed, both regular and setting for, basement renovation, professional services agreement, our 2026-7 school year calendar, our overnight field trip for the Fridley Middle School 7th grade trip to Long Lake Conservation Center, our tech refresh lease, authorization to Ellers Investment Partners to act as the district's investment manager and designate Pershing LLC as an official depository of the district, and then the QComp report, and an additional professional development day on September 26, 2025. I would entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Stark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Anna. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Future dates, we have no school on June 19th for the district holiday of Juneteenth. We also have no school as a district holiday July 4th. And then our next Fridley Public Schools board meeting will be June 15th. July 15th. Here at the Fridley Community Center, 5:30 work session, 7 o'clock public comment, 7:30 business meeting. With that being said, unless there are any important dates that I missed, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Meisner. Do I have a second? Second by Anna. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned 1 minute before 9 o'clock. Thank you.